Hello and welcome to the CEO at BT series. Here we bring you up close and personal conversations with the creme de la creme of India's C-suite to fetch you pertinent industry insights and personal anecdotes. Today, Business Today's managing editor Anand Adhikari is in conversation with Rishi Gupta, managing director and CEO of Fino Payments Bank. Payments banks in India have marked a path-breaking step in achieving financial inclusion in urban as well as in rural areas. However, they have limited banking licensing permits, only payments, remittances and the acceptance of the small savings and current accounts with no credit or lending activities. 6 years ago, the payments banks had a rocky beginning. Out of 11 successful aspirants, 3 surrendered their licenses and only half a dozen have started their operations. The business model is still stabilizing with only a few which are profitable. In fact, these payment banks now want to convert into small finance banks. Is the sun setting on payments banks? Let's hear it from Rishi Gupta, who runs a very profitable payments banking franchisee.
So thank you, Rishi, for giving us time. And I just want to start with, this 7-8 years ago, RBI gave, close to a dozen payment banking licenses. And we have seen, half a dozen are operational. And I think 3 or 4 have actually scaled up, their operation. I just want to know from you, how has been the journey so far? Let's start with that.
Thank you, and thank you for giving us an opportunity. See, when RBI licenses were issued, the guidelines came out in 2014. 2015 is when the principal approval came, and 2017 is when we started our journey as a payments bank. So it's been 6 years plus for us now. Obviously, over the last 6-7 years, the ecosystem has also evolved quite a bit, especially on the digital side or the UPI side. The ecosystem has
and that has
evolved,
really
helped us in a way, migrated the customer also in a way. But coming to your question, that a lot of people came in and only half of them are surviving, and within that, half of them are actually grown and become profitable. I think the way that everybody is conceptualized the business model, some people had a head start, some people went into a model where sustainability was one of the key elements. So when we look at Fino, for us, 4S, which is safety, which is scale, speed, security and sustainability is the key. So sustainability has been one of our key thoughts on which we have built up the business model. So the way we build up the business model is that rather than setting up a brick and mortar kind of ecosystem or pushing the customer 7 years back to use digital, as a company, we had a policy, let the customer decide whether they want to come physically to a point or come digitally. We personally believe that the customer will migrate as he feels convenient over a period of time. In the last 6-7 years, the ecosystem has evolved, the Jam Trinity, the mobile network, the digital focus of the government, and the way government has started to transfer the money into the bank accounts directly has given a lot of impetus to the payments bank ecosystem and specifically to Fino ecosystem. So rather than setting up the branch, we said we'll set up merchant ecosystem. So we have some 14 lakh plus merchants across the country. 50% of them are on our own network, 50% is on the API network. Through them, we enable transactions. So roughly around 25 to 30 million people come to our platform every month. They use the services of money transfer, cash withdrawal, or payment service or bill payment and recharge. A part of that actually started to open account with us, which is our thoughtful strategy of TAM, which is transaction to accounts to monetization. So people come to us for transaction, which is a hook product. Over a period, they become comfortable and they start building their trust with the bank because you are taking money from them. Customer, whether it's 100 rupees or 1000 or 10,000 rupees, they will not give you money unless that trust of there. And being a new bank, the trust is very important, trust and security of the customer. So we started to monetize that by opening an account. And then over a period, we looking at cross-sell and everything else. So journey has been quite rewarding. Obviously, it has been very difficult from the time the birth till now. But in this journey, we have been one of the successful payments bank, whether it comes to profitability or getting a scheduled bank license from RBI or even going public. So we are the only payments bank we went public 18 months to 24 months back. We believe we are at the stage where payments bank and Fino can do much more. Because now ecosystem of merchant, distributors, technology, partnerships has been created. that ecosystem can flourish and grow more in the years to come.
Right. So, when this bank started, like you said, 5 or 6 years, back, there were a lot of concern about the viability of the
Yeah,
model.
absolutely.
And now you're saying that there is an ecosystem today available, and we saw the Jam Trinity and in the digital stack and all that. Can we say that now this model is viable, that payments model today?
Yes. So absolutely. So I would say the timing of the payments bank was very right timing, because the ecosystem was also evolving. Even if you
Or
look
was
at
slightly ahead of time, maybe.
see, if you look at the Aadhaar UID
Right.
platform, the Aadhaar UID platform, not only that we enable Aadhaar enabled payment system AEPS, but we also use that for KYC. So before Aadhaar was actually, I think Aadhaar platform came in 2017-18 when Supreme Court allowed it to be used for KYC purposes. So that changed the entire ecosystem of onboarding new customers. If that ecosystem was not there, or if IMPS platform was not there, or UPI platform was not there, none of this what we are talking would have been possible.
Right.
So a lot of the credit of success of payment institutions or payment banks or banks goes to the ecosystem which got created, so to say. So within that, some people flourished, some people did not. But this is a patience business.
Yes.
So this is not something which can, like credit, where you can see instant benefits.
Right.
Obviously, credit is also a very long-term period of time. You give money, you have to wait whether he repays, not repay. But you see instant benefits or instant rewards coming.
Right.
In payments business and payments bank business, the rewards will take its own sweet time. So you need to be patient. You need to get that patient capital.
Right.
You need to get the right partnerships, the right data, the right distribution technology to make it play. Fortunately for us, we got everything in place because of the past history we got. So Fino was not a new payments bank. It was already a BC which
Exactly,
converted
yeah.
into
You
a
have it, yeah.
payments bank. So we understood the DNA of our customers. We understood the DNA of our team, the technology, what will sell, what will not sell. So focusing on what will not happen was one of our prime areas. So we developed products with the thought process that this guy needs a Maruti, doesn't need a Mercedes. So why do we need to sell a Mercedes to a Maruti? And our
Right.
DNA was focused on serving this lower pyramid of the ecosystem.
Right.
And I think amongst many other things, the ecosystem also helped us in scaling the business.
Right. And you talked about that merchant, part, and many people say that payment doesn't make money.
Yes.
So tell us the ecosystem around payments which you developed, and or the payment banking industries developing.
So when people say payments bank really don't make money, it's largely coming from the digital UPI kind of an ecosystem where you can't charge for
Exactly, there's no
transactions.
MDR.
So there is no real revenue line for that business. And over a period of time, payments have virtually become free. If you look at the digital way of doing payments,
Right.
even P2M or P2P is virtually free. The way we look at our customer segment is largely using for physical network. He has cash on the ground, so he has to deposit the money or he has to transfer the money. The alternate channels for him to do that is very expensive. He will have to go to a bank branch, which will be some 20-30 kilometers away. Half day of labor will go, 50 rupees, 100 rupees of travel cost will come in, and there's no guarantee that if he's gone there, the transaction will happen, because there could be some other events around that which may not allow the transaction to happen. In our case, the customer and the merchant are in the same ecosystem. Technology is very simple, easy to use. Onboarding is very easy to use. So because of which we have seen a very high interest of the customers coming to the merchant platform repeatedly
Right.
to use us for transaction platform, and then on the transaction we have built up the accounts and monetization as such.
Right.
So as I said earlier, you need to be patient. You need to look at it from a more longer term view. And from a point of view of your question in terms of whether this is now going forward the next 10 years, 20 years, I think ecosystem has built up.
Okay.
It will change.
Right.
We are seeing new things coming up in Anina today's event. We have seen so many things coming up. So it will keep on coming. Opportunities will keep on coming, and also disruptions will keep on coming.
Right.
So you have to continue to be innovative. You continue to be agile, and you look at opportunities which will come your way.
Right,
As such.
right. Now, if I look at the liability side, the deposit part, you're not allowed to lend. The other thing which I've seen in the system, they are like small finance bank, offering very high interest rate in a way. They're getting a lot of depositors from the well-established, banks. But the payment banking model, you can't offer more because you have to invest in GSEC.
Yeah.
So does that restriction in a way restrict your ability to raise deposit?
So when I look at payments bank model, I think there are two broad guidelines which are there. One is that our end of the day balance cannot be more than 2 lakh of rupees,
Exactly, yeah,
and
there's
we
a cap.
can't invest in more than 1 year GSEC.
Right.
And also we can't do RD, FD, SS. So there is liability restriction, and then on the lending side, obviously we can't do lending.
Right.
I think what will enable us, if there is some other restrictions go away, is the fact that we can source a better side of customers. A lot of customers don't want to come bank with us because they they feel that 2 lakh rupees limit,
Okay.
while they may not cross 2 lakh. But why should we go to a bank which has a limit? Why not go to another bank which has no limit? Because
Right.
the moment you cross 2 lakh, it goes into sweep in, sweep out facility, which is not frictionless. There is some manual, not a manual, but some handoffs, digital handoffs are there.
So there is a case
so to
for
say.
hiking the limit, deposit limit.
Yeah, so from that point of view, and secondly, because we don't do lending, so for us, raising liability specifically from lending purpose doesn't make sense, because we can't offer 8%, 7%
Exactly.
rate of interest because they can lend at 18-20%. We have to put in GSEC, which is about 7% or so. So what we have seen, our liabilities have grown up substantially in the last few years. It has grown by more than 50% in the last 1 year. Our customer is keeping 1100 to 1200 rupees average balance. The reason for that is that they have started to use our platform for transaction, and because they use it for transaction, they have also started to keep some balances in those accounts. So our liability story is coming from scale of the number of customers we have, the way they are transacting, and because it has become Hardin Fino for them, they do multiple transactions on Fino platform. So they've started to keep more balances. As the transaction platforms becomes more robust, customer do more account opening, we do, the balances will keep on growing.
Right. Outside the banking platform, I have seen, fintech. I mean, they're using payment as acquisition channel, then doing the lending part, or maybe tying up, with the banks and other institution. Now, will this kind of a model emerge for payments bank tomorrow, when they will also lend, but more like a distributor kind of a thing?
So right now also the regulation allows payments bank to offer credit on behalf of somebody. So we can't be underwriting the credit, but we can be resellers of credit, or distributor of credit. So that has its own benefit and limitations as such. One benefit is that you don't take the risk on your book. But the other risk is, or not a risk, but the downside is that you don't devise the product. So the product is owned by the manufacturer. You are just distributing, which may or may not sell for your set of customers. When you become an owner of a product, in that situation, you can build up the product, you can put your own risk and parameters around it, and then you can scale it up. So scaling a third-party product will always have a challenge, we believe.
Okay. So like once on the deposit side and the payment side, you're acquiring the customer. Is it easy to sell investment or the third-party product? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. It's not that easy.
Okay.
It's not that easy because our customer is coming to our platform to do transactions. So it's a very transactional relationship. Slowly, but surely we are moving him into our ownership model, where he started to open account, he started to keep some balances, and then go forward. After I think I reaches some limit or some balances, then you can pitch him for an investment or some other opportunity or a mutual fund. Insurance, we are able to do some part of it, largely health insurance. But most of this will actually come when you move into a full-fledged kind of a bank.
Okay. So since it's a very restricted model, and I think very few players are profitable. I think you are profitable. So what's the next logical step for anybody who is growing, under the payment?
So the way we are looking at it, payments itself is growing, and we are seeing with India growing from 3.5 to 5 to 10 over the next 10, 15 years. Payment ecosystem has become so frictionless and so good that it will continue to grow, and for everything you need payments. India is also becoming more chota amount ka payment. So 50 rupees, 100 rupees, 500 rupees. The beauty of payments is that can you at that 100 rupees make money or not? That is something which you have to build your business accordingly. So payments for us will continue to grow.
Okay.
We look forward to applying for a small finance bank.
That the board approval is already there.
Board approval is there. We are in the process of putting our application together. So once it's done, we'll apply to RBI. So in that model, we are looking at a payments bank plus model, which means that the liability, which I just said, 2 lakh rupee, RD, FD, lot of those things will enable us to do more business with the customer, open more current accounts. So a lot of current account customers are not SMEs, and MSMEs are not interested. But 2 lakh rupee limit is a very small amount for them, and they don't want to get into this thing of sweep in and sweep out. So that will come, and plus we can offer lending to our own customers and merchants to start with. So at Fino has the ability to raise low cost deposit, plus it has the ability to have one of the largest distribution, is very advanced on technology and digital, and a lot of data of our customers and merchants are available. So that brings Fino to be a very differentiated. Whenever converts into an SFBs, all approvals and everything will happen over a period of time, and RBI will take a decision on it. So whenever it happens, we'll be able to create something which we believe is quite differentiated.
Right. And I'm sure the other players will also apply for the small finance bank license. So will we have any payments bank, let's say next 10 years down the line?
So payments bank guidelines allows only non-corporate payments bank to apply for a SFB after 5 years. So we'll have to see amongst the existing payments bank who are non-corporate, they can apply. Corporates will have to, within the payments bank guidelines, they will have to continue to work.
Right. And one final question, I mean, apart from work, what else you do?
So apart from work, I've said this internally in my town halls and others, that Fino is my third child. So growing up, and this has been most difficult child compared to the other two kids which I have. But see, a lot of my time goes into it. 24/7, there is some thinking, something which is always keeps you active as such. But I typically like to maybe spend some time with friends, watch a movie, or now there are so many good shows coming up on OTT. Read some books also whenever I get time. Then holidays is something which I look forward to spending with kids, with family, with wife. So those are, I think, couple of things which I do. I've tried my hands on doing singing, dancing, music, but been very bad at it.
All recent years or?
No, from school, college days. But it's been very bad at it. So those are not my hobbies. But spending time with friends, generally talking, that's
right. So thanks a lot, Rishi, for all the information, and all the best for your. Hope you'll get the small banking license one day. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you very much, and have a nice day. Thank you.